Hey, be honest with me for a second. How many times have you checked your phone today? Once? Twice? Or maybe you lost count after 50. Yeah, I get it. I was addicted too. I'd scroll for hours, telling myself I was just taking a break. In reality, my brain was fried, my focus gone, my motivation missing in action. But then, boom, I broke free. And in this video, I'm going to show you exactly how I did it and how you can too. No fluff, no generic advice, just real, actionable steps that work. Let's go. Chapter 1, the wake-up call. Alright, let me paint a picture for you. It's 2 a.m. and I'm lying in bed, eyes burning, endlessly scrolling through reels I won't even remember in the morning. My alarm is set for 7 a.m., but let's be real, I'll hit snooze at least 5 times. Sound familiar? That was me, every single night. One day I finally checked my phone's screen time report. 7 freaking hours a day. 7 hours! That's a full-time job spent glued to a screen. That was time I could have used to learn a new skill, hit the gym, or actually talk to real people. And it hit me like a ton of bricks. This wasn't just a harmless habit. This was an addiction. My phone owned me, and I was done being its servant. I realized I was stuck in an endless loop. Wake up, check my phone, scroll mindlessly, procrastinate, then stress about all the things I wasn't getting done, and numb myself by scrolling even more. The cycle was vicious. The worst part? I thought I was in control. In reality, my phone controlled me. That realization was my wake-up call. I made a decision, right then and there, that I was going to break free. No more wasting my life staring at a screen. I had to take action, and that's exactly what I did. Chapter 2. Why your brain loves scrolling. Before we dive into how I escaped, we need to talk about why it's so hard to put your phone down. Let me tell you what no one really says about screen addiction. Your brain actually loves it. See, your brain craves quick dopamine hits. Every time you scroll or get a notification, you get a tiny reward. Ding! Funny meme. Ding! Cute puppy. Ding! Someone liked your post. Your brain is basically going, "Yo, this is amazing, let's do this forever." But here's the catch. Dopamine isn't really the happiness chemical, it's the wanting chemical. It pushes you to seek more and more and more without ever feeling satisfied. That's why telling yourself just one more video turns into 10, then 100, and suddenly, boom, it's midnight. Social media apps know exactly how to exploit this. They're designed like casinos to keep you hooked. Infinite scroll, autoplay videos, bright red notifications. It's all a deliberate trap to keep you chasing that next hit. All that constant stimulation messes with your head. Not only does excessive screen time warp your brain's reward system, it wrecks your ability to focus on real life. Ever wonder why it's so hard to read a book or concentrate on work after you've been on your phone for hours? It's because you've trained your brain to crave constant, fast-paced input. The moment you try to do something slower or quieter, it feels unbearable. Your brain literally says, "Ugh, this is boring. Where's my phone?" The good news is you can retrain your brain. It starts with understanding that you're up against biological wiring and some very smart tech designers. Once I became aware that I was being manipulated by apps and algorithms, something clicked. I dug into research about how social media hijacks our attention. I learned that apps like Instagram and TikTok use the same psychological tricks as slot machines: random rewards, infinite feeds with no stopping point, pull to refresh, all to keep you hooked as long as possible. Realizing that my attention was being treated like a lab rat's made me angry. I thought, no more, I'm taking my control back. I became determined to fight back. Here's how I did it. Chapter 3. Step 1. Make your phone annoying. The first thing I did was make my phone less fun. Seriously. I turned my screen black and white. No more eye candy colors and shiny red icons screaming "tap me" at every glance. In an instant, my phone went from a colorful dopamine slot machine to something that looked, well, boring. And that's exactly what I needed. Without the vibrant reds and blues, those notification badges and app icons lost a lot of their allure. My Instagram feed in grayscale was about as enticing as plain oatmeal. Perfect. I wanted my phone to feel dull. Next, I removed every social media app from my home screen. If I wanted to open Instagram or TikTok, I had to search for it in the app drawer. That extra step was just annoying enough to make me think twice. The more friction I added, the less likely I was to fall into mindless scrolling. It sounds trivial, but the effort of typing out the app name and waiting for it to load gave me a moment to pause and ask myself, do I really need to check this right now? Most of the time, the answer was no. I kept going. I deleted the most addictive apps altogether. TikTok, gone. Twitter, deleted. If I absolutely needed to use a particular service, I made myself use it on a clunky old desktop computer. That inconvenience was enough to curb the urge. And surprise, without quick access on my phone, I found myself checking those platforms way less. I even tweaked my phone's settings further. I set daily time limits on certain apps and made my lock screen as minimalist as possible. I pared my home screen down to just a few essential tools, maps, notes, and such. So every time I unlocked my phone, there was basically nothing interesting to poke at. My thumb's muscle memory, that automatic habit of opening Instagram or TikTok the second you unlock, started to fade. I'd unlock my phone, stare at an empty screen, and be like, oh, right, nothing to do here. These tiny changes added up. My phone transformed from a candy-colored arcade into a gray brick that almost bored me. And that was the point. The less enticing my phone was, the less time I spent glued to it. But making my phone boring was only half the battle. I needed something to fill that void. Chapter 4, Step 2, Replace. Don't just remove. Here's something important. Quitting cold turkey is brutal. If you just delete all your apps and leave a void, your brain will go into withdrawal, craving those dopamine hits with a vengeance. So instead of simply removing my screen time vices, I actively replaced them with healthier habits. I basically had to give my brain some new toys, ones that wouldn't leave me feeling like a zombie. For example, instead of flipping through TikTok for an hour, I'd watch a short YouTube video that taught me something useful or uplifting. If I felt the itch to mindlessly scroll social media, I'd grab a book, an actual physical book, and read a couple pages. Instead of texting memes back and forth all night, I started actually calling my friends and family. Real conversations. Remember those? At first it felt weird, but it was so much more fulfilling than yet another aimless scrolling session. I also tried picking up little hobbies whenever boredom struck, shooting hoops outside for 10 minutes, doodling in a sketchbook, even just stepping out to breathe some fresh air. The key was to keep my brain engaged in something that didn't involve swiping a screen. Chapter 5, Step 3, The 30-Day Challenge. This is where things got real. I decided to challenge myself, 30 days of no mindless scrolling, a full-on detox. I actually marked the dates on my calendar and everything. The rule was simple. If I caught myself idly scrolling out of habit, I had to stop immediately and go do something productive or at least intentional. No more zombie swiping allowed. The first week was brutal. I'm not gonna lie, my brain threw a fit like a toddler denied candy. I'd reach for my phone reflexively whenever I was bored, only to remember it was off limits. I felt restless, even anxious. There were moments I almost gave in. I'd be lying in bed, the urge to grab my phone and dive into Instagram was almost physical. My thumb twitched, I swear. In those moments, I had to take a deep breath and find something else to do. Write in a journal. Do 20 push-ups, anything to ride out the craving. It truly felt like withdrawal. But then something amazing started to happen. After about 2 weeks, the fog began to lift. I noticed my focus was improving. Like, really improving. I could sit and work on a task for an hour, uninterrupted, which used to feel impossible. My sleep got better too. I was actually falling asleep faster and waking up feeling more rested. No more 2 a.m. doom scrolling means no more 2 a.m. adrenaline spikes or blue light keeping me awake. I felt happier, calmer. Little things no longer annoyed me as much, and I think it's because I wasn't constantly overstimulated or comparing my life to everyone else's highlight reels online. By the end of those 30 days, I was a different person. The urge to scroll was a fraction of what it used to be. I could actually eat a meal or watch a movie without instinctively reaching for my phone every 5 minutes. My brain had essentially reprogrammed itself. I didn't even want to waste hours scrolling anymore. It was like breaking a spell. I finally felt free. Chapter 6, Step 4, The Golden Rule. Control. Don't be controlled. Alright, if you take one thing from my story, let it be this. Control your phone, or it will control you. This is the golden rule that emerged from my journey. You have to set boundaries and be intentional with your phone use. Treat your phone like a tool, not a toy, not a boss. Because if you don't, it's all too happy to become the boss of you. So here's a challenge for you, my friend. If you're serious about breaking free from your screen addiction, try this. For the next 24 hours, track your screen time. Every single minute. Be brutally honest with yourself about how often you're on that screen and what you're doing. You might be shocked by what you find. That number might just be your wake-up call, like my 7-hour shock was for me. Use that awareness as fuel to make a change. Maybe even start your own 7-day or 30-day no-scrolling challenge. Set some limits. For example, no phone during meals or no social media after 9 p.m., whatever works to give you control back. And hey, if you slip up, don't beat yourself up. Remember, you're undoing years of habit and some very powerful brain wiring. Be patient with yourself. Breaking an addiction isn't easy. It's a fight, no doubt about it. But trust me, it's worth it. The freedom on the other side is unbelievable. Now, before you go, take a moment to really reflect. How much of your life is being controlled by a screen? How many beautiful moments have you missed because you were too busy staring at your phone? It hurts to think about, I know, but breaking free isn't about never using technology again. It's about reclaiming your time, your focus, and your life. Imagine what you could do with those extra hours every day. The skills you could learn, the relationships you could strengthen, the goals you could chase. Imagine truly being present for the people and the world around you. That is the life waiting for you on the other side of this. If you've made it this far, it means something inside you is ready for change. This is your sign. Start today. Take small steps and be intentional. Remove a couple of apps, turn off a few notifications, try one day with a strict limit. Whatever you can do, do it. And most importantly, be kind to yourself through the process. You might stumble, but every day off the screen is a day closer to freedom. I'm living proof that you can break the cycle. I was right where you are, and I made it out. I promise if I can do it, you can too. I believe in you. You got this. And if you ever feel yourself slipping or need a dose of motivation, come back to this video. Rewatch it. Remind yourself why you started this journey in the first place. Alright, that's it from me. Now go on, go touch some grass, seriously. Go live a little and experience the world beyond the screen. You owe it to yourself. I'll see you on the other side.